Hi everyone, and this is Ogham Divination Lesson 1, version 2, because I made a mistake yesterday trying to download it and ended up deleting it. So for those that were trying to see it afterwards, I do apologise for that. But here we are, I'm redoing it for you again. So Ogham is an ancient Irish alphabet. It is the earliest Irish alphabet, and it came about into being between 400 to 600 BC. It came about at the same time, although in different areas, as the Elder Futhark runes as well. And that you will notice that there is some similarities with regards to the runes in that, Odin has the runes and Ogma had the Ogham. Ogham is pronounced Ogham, although it is spelled Ogham, but it is Ogham. And when it comes to actually pronouncing the words, the names of the fuse, it is something that I will be actually stating them by their Irish names, so with their pronunciations. But for the rest of the course, I'll be stating them how they're actually written, just for the ease of being able to know what I am talking about. Ogham has 20 fuse or 20 feather. Now the feather fuse are fuse is an anglicised term for feather, so you'll see me interchanging them, but the feather is actually Irish for trees or letters, and there's 20 of them. There is an additional 5, which are the 4 feather, which are after trees or additional letters. For the purposes of this course, we won't be diving into those because those actually come into play when you're doing more advanced levels of reading. But the feather themselves in groups of 4. So there's five fuse in each acme. And an acme is a family, just like the runes have the 8s. And, tarot has its suits. Ogham has its acme, its family, and they are together. And there are 4 families of 5. And what I'm going to do in this lesson is I'm going to actually turn over the whole onto the overhead and actually run through those meanings again for you as to what they all are and what they actually bring. There is a handout for the entire course this week in which I've done. The meanings are included within them. So take your time and actually go through them. There is a lot to absorb, because one of the best elements with regards to Ogham is it contains both light and dark within it. So they are just how they are. They all have a guidance that brings some real positive connotations, but at the same time, there is the flip side of that. For that reason, I don't read reversals purely because they tell you all that they need you to know. You can see the ways in which they interact. And so I won't be doing reversals for that reason when it comes to further on down the line. Now, Ogham is really exceptional at actually helping you understand yourself and your place within this world. It fundamentally is a tally system, and it catalogues the universe and everything that's been and everything that will be. The runes are a universe in a bag, and Ogham is a catalogue of the universe. So any question that you could want to know is there. It will show you. It is amazing to be able to use it to look within yourself and understand yourself on a deep, fundamental level. Ogham encourages, or should I say, the Irish belief system in that time really harnessed, they didn't, life and death, there was reincarnation. They believed in everything having a cycle, and that it was an eternal cycle in which we went through. So bear that in mind when understanding that it's actually looking as well at cycles of life and being and ways of being and patterns within that. Now, with Ogham, you are the center of your own universe, and that is very true, because there's only you going to experience your life like you are, because there is only one you, there is only you. And for that reason, everything that occurs around you, within you, is deeply personal throughout life. And what you'll find is that with regards to Ogham, their meanings are really deep and quite profound at times. And that just really asks you to look within and get really profound answers from yourself. They are very similar in how they appear. So they are each letter is a stroke. So you'll have your actual line, and then you'll see the stroke, and that is the actual letter upon it. Ogham traditionally is written and read from bottom to top. And it's something that is really, really beautiful. And once you start asking questions, and once you start delving in and pulling information from it, it'll really open your eyes to not just new ways of being, but new ways of approaching, understanding yourself in a fundamentally different way. And that, for me, is quite magical. And I'm very, very happy to be able to share that with you for the purposes of this course. So I'm going to put the overhead on, and I will run through the meanings for you. Now, as you can see, these are all of the 20 Veda, and they're in their acmes, so they're in their families. The first one is Be. Now, Be is all about birth. It's about vitality. It's about new ways of being, new life. It brings a real opportunity with it. And it's literally bursting to go into action. It carries a lot of excitement because it is really positive in that sense. It does ask you, though, don't be fearful of something new. Don't have any negative thoughts, because everything is possible with this view. And what I mean by negative thoughts is, if you have an opportunity, a new way of doing something, a new way of actually applying yourself to something, or, there is a trepidation. Am I good enough? Will I be able to do this? It asks you to actually overcome that and embrace the newness that's actually coming, because everything is possible. You can attain anything with that. The second one is Louis, and that is a really beautiful view in that it asks you to look into yourself, gain insight into yourself. What are your motivations within life? What motivates you to do things? What motivates you to act in certain ways? And you really need to have a objectivity and detachment, because you need to be able to remove your involvement and feelings towards situations to see things how they really are in their true context. Once you're able to actually do that, you're able to see the motivations and intentions of others more clearly as well. By understanding what motivates you and your intentions, you can actually understand, the motivations of others, and that will allow you to really see where there's changes that you can make, which will be for the betterment of you. And it'll also show you when you might be acting in ways as well that aren't aligned with who you truly are. The next one down, we have Ferren. Now, Ferren is all about integrity. It's loyalty. It's the truth. It is understanding the truth, understanding your own truth as well. And it allows you really to get to the root of any situation by gaining that deeper understanding of it. It requires that you actually are open to improvement and releasing some rigidity that you might have in some of the beliefs that you might hold. But with that, it does tell you that you will gain, deeper knowledge. You will get more growth. And when you understand your own principles in the situation, you can understand the principles of a situation itself. It doesn't mean to say the two need to match up, but it means that you can easily spot when something's aligned with you or something isn't. Past experiences are there for us to draw upon to see if we're standing true to our beliefs. And being open to alternate views in situations really allows you to learn and grow without being rigid, so that you're able to see beyond anything from your own viewpoint. But it is essential that you know what is your own truth within you and understand why that's your truth, because that is fundamentally really important when it comes to this view. The next view, we have Sal. Now, Sal is all about being balanced. It's balancing the logical thoughts that we have with our intuitive ones. It will highlight things that we might not have, considered before. So it will bring a one of there's something that you might not have expected. But with that as well, it really does support your psychic development, growth. It allows you to tap into, your intuitive side. So really tap into your intuition without dismissing the logic that's actually behind it. So it's actually facilitates us blending our logic and blending our intuition so that, we can harness it into something tangible that's going to be work, and we're not going to be dismissing it as, being overly rational or being overly imaginative that way. So it really allows us to bring something in and into a way that it works together, which is really beautiful. Nin. Now, Nin is, it has cycles, life, rebirth. And when you're looking at the cycles of things, life and death, beginning and endings, you're starting one thing after another has ended, but you also have that little bit of a respite, that little bit of respite that you feel between a cycle. Now, that a cycle could be anything. It could be you doing your housework, doing your, your to-do list in work. Once you finish one, you're then ready to start and commence upon something new. That is a cycle within itself. And it really does allow you to manifest new ways of being, because in that respite, in that pause in which you have, you actually get time to actually reflect before commencing again. So it allows you to really evaluate, would you make changes? Would you do something differently? What has happened? And then move on to doing something new. So if that cycle comes back around again, you know exactly how to approach it next time. So it's something that really is, it's a continuous way of being. And like I say, reincarnation is something that was really fundamental within the Irish religion back then, and the belief systems that we were all reborn and life is an endless cycle of life shows within that pattern of reincarnation and commencement of something new after something has ended. This first acme is all about, the potential of starting for something new, seeing why you're motivated for something, looking upon the principles of any situation, but your own principles in which you stand on, really from that, allowing you to grow and flourish, blending the logic and the intuition to really, move towards your goals. And with Nin, actually, when you've completed that cycle, allowing you time to reflect before actually commencing in a new one. The second acme, Ua. Now, Ua is not positive. It is not a positive fuel. It will bring warnings of, negative influences, bad luck, misfortune. And when it appears, you really are needing to kind of take a step back and truly see things for how they are, because it's not a negativity or a bad luck, shall we say, that actually is caused only by others or only from the external environment, but it's one which we can also cause ourselves through our own behaviours, such as self-sabotage. And it really does need to be dealt with, and before you can actually move on from it when it appears in a reading. But it is something that when you're looking at it, you needing to look in a truly honest way to see if you're bringing this onto yourself in any way, or if indeed it is being brought upon you by others. So it's actually asking you to actually take stock, are you contributing to this negativity that you're experiencing? And is it something that's actually being brought about by your own doing? So in that sense, it really does ask you to really look at it for truly how it is. The next one, we have Da, and that's all about strength and determination and willpower, sheer will. But it's not only about physical strength and things like that. It's your strength of your character is as equally as important as your physical strength. It's about being determined, even in the face of adversity. It encourages you to lead and not follow. Actually knowing yourself, who you are at your core is very important aspect of Da. If you know yourself and you have the courage to really look at yourself for truly everything that you are, then you will be able to drive yourself forward. You'll move forward in your life. It allows you to see patterns, so patterns of events. It links the past and past experiences to the future, and it allows you to really achieve any goal that you set your mind to, as well as overcoming any obstacle in your path, because you truly understand those aspects within yourself and actually have the determination to continue on despite anything that you could be facing. The next few is Tinner, and Tinner is about directing balance. And it's about doing that through proportion, seeing things in proportion and being balanced within the reactions that actually follow that. So it needs you to be objective and look at all sides of a situation, see all the perspectives before actually reacting, because in that way you get a fundamental understanding of your past actions affecting the present, and actually being able to see what's happening right now is a direct reflection of this. So when you're looking at Tinner, it is karmic in some elements, because it says that, you know, what you've done in the past is affecting like right now, it bears relevance to what is occurring right now. But it actually also has links with retribution and righting wrongs. So when you're looking in that aspect, you know, it allows you then to restore order, balancing those scales, you know, by right and wrongs. And you're asked to actually direct balance and have that kind of solidity within yourself to actually be open enough to be objective, see all sides of a situation, you know, understand everything that's happening. In fact, how you may have influenced, or actions in the past may have influenced what's occurring right now, because that then allows you to take the best possible actions, and therefore you're not reacting on impulse, and you're not just, you know, triggered into firing off a reaction with that, and then you're preventing that catching up with you karmically later on in time. The next one is Call. Now, Call actually is very creative, and what happens with Call is you have these sparks, so you have that kind of that inspiration, that idea, and then you take that idea and you use it, you know, you use it in ways that are not only going to be appreciated by yourself, but appreciated by others also. It allows you to bring things, you know, to fruition purely by seeing them for more than what they first appear. So you've got your vision, and you're taking it and you see the potential in something has to become even more, and you're actively able to do that. You're shaping and molding it into that so that all can enjoy it. And it is exciting to others, and it brings new ways, and it encourages others as well to actually do that. And it is something that, when, you know, incorporated correctly, it'll bring solutions to a lot of different life areas, because you're able to creatively solve problems or anything that you may not have previously from that. It is magnificent for that kind of creative endeavors and elevating something from more than what it first appears to be. The final few in the second acme is Kurt. Now, this is about seeing things in proportion. It's about actually seeing the beauty in all things, and not just from, you know, a surface level kind of point of view. It's about actually, you know, appreciating the beauty in sadness, joy in pain, and not one that's purely out of, you know, admiration and, oh, this is shiny. It also encompasses the cycles of life, but this cycle that it actually encompasses is more one of, you know, from youth to aging, you know, getting old, passing away, being born, vitality, to moving through that cycle of aging. And, you know, as you get old, your body starts creaking, you know, you start finding wrinkles and things like that. But it's about still seeing that beauty within that. It advises to actually look really at the deeper principles in life, and not always look at something on its surface level. You know, look beyond the surface, because all that glitters isn't gold. So it's really beautiful on that, because it allows us to delve into things with a real harmony about it, and have an appreciation for all that is around. So the second acme actually deals with, you know, negativity and misfortune, actually looking at whether or not it's you, you know, where this has came from, actually having the courage to stand upon your convictions and actually push through, and having, you know, the strength of your character as you actually can right wrongs, and really direct the balance and control your own reactions to things that are around you, being creative and coming up with ways to actually make things more and better than what they are, in a way that's exciting and appreciated by not just yourself but everyone around you. It's really, creative solutions from that, and then understanding about seeing things in proportion and appreciating the beauty in everything. The beauty in a cracked vase, understanding the deeper principles of life within that. The third acme, the first view on the third acme, is Mwyn. Now, Mwyn is really symbolic of understanding what is you. So, it's self and internal, what's you, and what's not you. So that is that which is external to you, other people, things around you, and the effect each has upon the other. So that cause and effect aspect. And that in turn really does facilitate having, a deeper understanding of life in itself, but it's very gentle in how it approaches things, and it really does enhance your logical, rational mind with the subconscious intuitive hits that we might have. And when you're able to blend them together, the result literally is being able to turn any dream into a physical reality. It's meant to empower you. It is very empowering in its nature. The only time that an issue would arise will be if you're unable to ascertain the difference between, what's you and what's not you. And then that will bring confusion to you rather than more clarity from that. The second one is Gert. Now, Gert has a transformational energy. It is one that is, you are, creating willed change. So you are actively creating change yourself in developing something to a much higher level. So elevating it from one way of being to another. And it's dependent upon you really being able to visualize the improvements that you want to make, or what skills you want to improve upon, or what you want to, in which ways you want to heighten and hone them. When this occurs, it really allows you to be able to use the right ways to bring about this change, because it will bring fundamental changes to you on a deep level. But again, it's all dependent upon you having insight into yourself. So you've got to know who you are, what's your strengths and what's your weaknesses, because that way it'll bring the growth to you in the right ways. And, really, if you think about wanting to elevate your stature in a workplace, you want to get a promotion, for example, you've got to know what your strengths and your weaknesses are. And if you have a weaknesses in an area, have an insight, clearly the ways in which what you would need to improve upon in order to get the promotion that you're hoping to attain. And that allows you then to start, integrating that change through that willing of, I want to improve. It's fantastic for transformational aspects with that. The third view in the third acme is Nyel. Now, whereas Win actually looks at what's you and what's not you and the cause and effects of that, Nyel, it harmonizes that external from you to what's internal to you. And what the differences are really, don't matter as much. It's the importance, or the focus should really be on the fact that they both work together in parallel whilst remaining separate to each other. Now, if you think about in a relationship, you don't want to be codependent, so you're not like latched together, infusing as one, but you're both two autonomous people that's, on this path together, and you're working together, in harmony, in parallel, whilst remaining separate and autonomous. And it's the same in a workplace as well. You've got your things to do on a project, somebody might have something else, but you're working together for that common goal. And it will be, once you start with that, it actually allows you to see more synchronicities, and that manifestation is really, possible with that, because it's energy. And when you're using it for magic purposes, you actually, you're understanding what's happening, the flow around you and within you, and you're actually working with that and able to manifest absolutely anything, and it'll open up possibilities that you might not have thought of or might not have seen before, and it allows you to learn, you know, from both worlds, so from your internal world and from that external that's going on around you, and it will aid in deepening the understanding of the influences within each other. Now, strafe is a really, it's not a positive view, it's quite negative, but again, the negatives actually do bring a positive with it. So with strafe, it will highlight, you know, if you've been coerced into doing something, if you've been manipulated or controlled in any way. Now, those are really strong words. So it's where you're giving away your power, basically. And it will limit the life choices that you have. It pertains to actually suggesting that you don't have an awareness of what is happening. And you might feel like your freedom's kind of restricted or you've got limited choices, you know, but it's you following other people's agendas rather than your own. So it's, you know, being swayed into following the agendas of others into what's truly what it is that you're wanting deep within you. But the key with strafe is once you actually are able to identify that, once you see that is occurring, it allows you then to take back your own power, because the element of choice is back to you again, and you have the choice whether or not you're wanting to give that away and do that, or whether or not you want to do something differently and say no. So, you know, although it is negative because it will warn that you're being like coerced by someone or something externally to you, that in itself empowers you because it gives the element of, you know, choice back to you, whether or not you're wanting to continue down with that or not. Now, risk is the final one within this. And, you know, when you look at GOT, and GOT is all about will change. It's you creating that change within you. You know, you're doing that. Well, risk is about changes that come externally. That external changes that will affect you, but it's not you actually creating those changes. Now, if you accept that you are entitled to, you know, create changes in your life and improve upon yourself in ways, you've got to be acceptant of changing others also, or changing circumstances that way. It encourages you to understand, you know, that things are never static, things never stay the same. There's always change, you know, things always change, and have an acceptance of that and release fear, because sometimes, you know, change can be a good thing because you actually have to realize that there's potential for enrichment coming from any kind of change. So accepting that changes are happening and understanding that all things do really brings more of an excitement to the change that's coming externally, rather than having fear or trepidation about that. So when you're actually looking at this third ACME, this third family, you know, you're looking at what's you, what's not you, the cause and effect of things, actually looking to see the ways in which you yourself can implement changes to elevate yourself from where you currently are into something that's much better or higher or more, and working, you know, yourself with the external, actually working in parallel together to bring more of a harmony rather than fighting and having a discord with that. Actually seeing the ways in which you are actively giving away your power without realizing it, and giving you the element of choice whether or not that's something that you want to continue or not, and ultimately then accepting that change not only comes from you but comes from others, and it's not always a bad thing. The fourth ACME. Now, the fourth and final ACME, the first one we have is Ogham. Now, Ogham is, you know, requiring the ability to be objective. And in doing that, you're able to then establish really healthy boundaries, strong, healthy boundaries. It creates an order, and, you know, everything has an order in life. And if you think about what I said about Ogham being a catalogue of the universe, it puts things into an order. Everything has an order to it. Even things that don't have a pattern ultimately have a pattern. There is order to all. And it highlights the fact that when you know, create order in life, success then is found, because everything is, order is in everything, and order is essential in being able to maintain the balance. You know, it's about you actually directing the course of your life. taking the bull by the horns that way, rather than life sweeping you along and dragging you through it, and you're not being swept away by life events. You're actually directing the course of your life, and it will bring good rewards to you when you use it in that balanced way, because it'll highlight when there's new opportunities that are possibly available to you. If you're not actually utilizing alum effectively, so if you're not really, utilizing that view, it does actually suggest that there's a risk of lack of structure, lack of organization, and that will be unproductive to you, because it will be at the detriment of your progressing through anything in life. Then we have Ogham. Now, Ogham is wisdom, and it is specific that wisdom is required in order to produce a level of understanding, and it aids you in gaining a higher perspective, because it allows you to utilize all of the wisdom that you've already gained. You see all the different perspectives, and you look at experience as well to really elevate the perspective that you might have previously held. You've got to be able to be resourceful, so draw upon all the resources that's available to you, and then actually combine them and have them working in a way that, they're not working against each other, but you're actually combining your resources in a way that's going to actually move you forward. And that in itself brings a solid foundation, which then allows you to tap into your insights more, so tap into your intuition. And it brings the realization, that wisdom comes through dedication, and that everything we do should be applied, everything that we apply ourselves to should be done with dedication, in order to actually, gain the wisdom in which we are actually seeking from that. Then we have now, is all about passion. It's about following your heart. It's that kind of passion that exists within us all, and it opens us up to new experiences, new opportunities. It's quite adventurous. It's new adventures, and it brings the subconscious and the conscious together, and it really opens up the floodgates for really having a new self, a new way of being, or a new life entirely. It does suggest that you really do need to have focus and planning in order to be able to then put effort into what it is that you want to make a reality. And that's what, is imperative when it comes to anything in life. When you have a dream about something that you want to achieve, well, it always will remain a dream unless you actually have focus and you plan the ways in which you can actually attain that dream that you're wanting to get. So whatever it is that you could be wanting, envisaging, how to be, what you're wanting, it really requires you to look and, plan how you're going to get that. And have a sense of adventure as well. It really does ask you to follow what your heart's desiring, and plan and work towards actually that. EDAD is overcoming, so it's harnessing all of that strength that you have within yourself. It's harnessing that determination, and it'll allow you to overcome obstacles, adversity, hardships, any negativity. It warns that, there could be some negative situations that will occur, but it does give that assurance that, it will be something that you'll be able to overcome, just simply by drawing upon your inner strength to be able to continue. And, you are required to have courage when facing anything in life. So it's a reminder as well, not to be resistant to change because it feels familiar. Actually, you will be victorious after any struggles that you've had with EDAD. You've just got to really, harness that inner strength and really go through it. So whereas Jer was, is all about the strength and the strength of your character, EDAD is all about harnessing that in order to really, drive you forward, and to know that you will be victorious. And the final one is EDAD. Now that is really, it's radical change. It's a complete upheaval. It's major endings, transformations. Anything that finishes always brings a level of upheaval with it. And EDAD highlights that there will be some kind of crisis or upheaval that's going to be faced in the life area that it refers to in a reading. Now, the end of one way always opens up a doors for a new way of being. But there is an element of discomfort as we go through transitions in life and changing from even changing jobs or changing, working departments, for example. It is something that brings a little bit of discomfort because we get used to familiarity, and that what's comfortable, being comfortable in the uncomfortable even is what, EDAB asks you to be, because it is a key. Look at it as a key. It will open the door to self-discovery in a really transformative way, and it brings a greater of awareness. But you do need to realise that it is a complete and total change in circumstances, in some regard. So that final acme, actually looking at things, in an objective way, actually gaining more insight, being resourceful, drawing upon all the resources, and dedicating yourself to actually, gaining that elevation within that, following your heart, having a sense of adventure and really opening up to new ways of being, harnessing your inner strength and really pushing through any kind of negativity that you could be facing, and culminating in really transformations into a new way of being, an end of one way, the end of the old and the commencement then of the new. And that is the meanings of Ogham. Now, in the handout they are there. I did ask on yesterday's live, and I've noticed that a few people have actually done it. Pull one view and ask, asking, show me what your day is going to be like, or show what you're going to be experiencing within your day. Post it in the group and see how it's fared for you. It's a beautiful system. I apologize for actually deleting yesterday's video by mistake. However, hopefully this is all going to go well, and I will see you all for lesson 2, which will be this evening at 7 p.m. Take care, everyone. Bye.